Hey everyone, yeah, I'm heading to work right now. It's a little after 3:45, so I gotta walk because I gotta get my bike worked on probably tomorrow or at least sometime when I'm at work. Yeah, basically long story short, the tires were getting flat, so I figured I'd inflate them, and the back tire decided, or the tube in the back tire decided, hey, I'll just overinflate, and it didn't seem like it was overinflating. All of a sudden I'm taking it out, so boom, I didn't hear no or anything like that. It just suddenly died. It just went flat, and so yeah. But anyway, heading to work the way I used to when I first began, and that's walking. But with that said, you know, what was I gonna say? Oh yeah. Kind of give you my thoughts on some of the news I got out of San Diego Comic-Con as far as it concerns Sonic the Hedgehog and the characters there. It seems that some significant things are going to happen after Worlds Unite. Now, pretty much we have an idea that Sonic and Mega Man and maybe even X are going to go super, maybe along with some other characters, in the final conclusion of Worlds Unite. So, that'll be quite interesting to see. Now, one of the things that we do find out that's going to take place as far as the Sonic comic goes is there'll be a lot going on. First of all, one of the news items that came out of the Archie Sonic panel, which you could see a video of on YouTube, the Archie Sonic Mega Man panel, is the fact that we're getting two characters coming back. One character's coming back after, literally over 20 months being gone, and that's Nagus. Nagus looks more Sega-fied, but also now has a hat, a witch's hat, a warlock's hat. I don't know, he has some kind of hat now that he wears. And then Lupe from of the Wolf Pack from the Saturday AM cartoon Cry of the Wolf, as well as in the original timeline of the comics, she's coming back, and she looks Sega-fied. Some say she looks a little like. Some say that facially she looks a little like Blaze. So, but besides that, a majority of her looks almost similar to what she was before. I mean, it's just more of a Sega-fied, as people put it, version of her that we're getting. It's almost the same design as we had before, except I think some people might note that she no longer has a scar on her face, and that she looks possibly a little younger. If you catch my drift, that she might be a little younger in tone, that she might be younger. So that's interesting to see, that she might be younger as well. So just really looking forward to see what they do with her. And it sounds like she may be making her debut not long after Worlds Unite, or her re-debut, if you get my drift. She'll be making her return not that long after Worlds Unite, and I think she's going to be part of the story arc that helps the freedom fighters find the Gaia temples and these Gaia ring guardians or whatever they are. So that's what's interesting there. Another thing that's interesting, according to people that were there at the event and some of the notes that were taken, and apparently you could see this in some of the solicits and synopsis for upcoming issues, it seems that starting in 276, each issue will have one story, will have two stories, but these stories will be broken up into parts. So in other words, you'll have like a main, basically you'll have two main stories in the comic. So one main story will be one that takes place, well, both of them are going to take place in the continuity of what's going on, but it's like one's going to focus on one situation of the continuity and the other's going to focus on the other situation of the continuity. So in other words, you know, like the first one we're getting, which is I think Rotor and Sonic, you know, going to the Arctic or something like that with Chip and everything to help find these Gaia temples and these guardians. Basically, the 10 pages of that book, or that story, well, basically the 10 pages of that story. Hold on for a sec. No, I thought that was my brother-in-law in the van. Apparently the workers are taking the van. So anyway, like I said, hold on for a sec. Well, anyways, like I was saying, basically the way the premise for the future of the comics, the main Sonic comics go right now, I'm sure it's just the main Sonic comics, is that you're going to have two 10-page stories in the book. Two main 10-page stories that will happen in the book. So you'll have like a main story and a backup story, basically, but both at equal length. So basically they're like two main stories. Two main stories that are going to take place in the context they're going to take place in the context of the book. And the first one has to deal with basically what's going on in the Arctic with Rotor and Sonic and Chip and all that. And then the second one is going to involve Bunny going up against one of the sisters that we met of the Dark Legion, that Cassidy sister, that cyborg, that sister that got herself roboticized to cyborg. So that's basically the new premise. It's going to be like two 10-page stories each, and the difference is each story will continue into the next month. So like the main story will continue into the next month in part 2, the first story, and then the one that joins it, like the other 10-page story, will also continue as well. It's basically two individual stories within the same context and story arcs and all that, but they'll be separate and they'll take place and they'll basically continue into the next month, just like a regular issue would, except they're shorter. Now, I don't know if this is to save on money, financially, what's going on, I don't really know. But that's what's happening there. We also have more information on what the Silver Age story arc is going to be like. We find out there's a new character coming in called Gold the Terek, or Goldie the Terek, or whatever her name is. So she looks kind of like a blend between a Guardian and a Hedgehog, basically an Echidna and a Hedgehog, so that's interesting. And really, that's all that's going on. I mean, they did give information that Mega Man will be on hold, won't be canceled, just be on hold. And pretty much, I think it confirmed in a sense that maybe what I was talking about could be true from what I read and read in the notes that were taken, the summary. That basically what they're doing is they're just holding off until maybe they organize things. They get things more paced out, more organized. Not just comic-wise, but things like behind the scenes, financially, as well as subscription-wise. I mean, because currently, honestly, I don't even have 274 yet. So, yeah. I don't have that yet, and I'm sure I'm not the only one. But that's what's going on, obviously. That's basically what I've read and heard about from San Diego Comic-Con and the Archie Sonic Mega Man panel. Those are just my thoughts on it. Overall, things sound good. I know there are some changes some people may not like, but you know what? We just got to give it a chance and see what happens. I think sometimes some of these changes are due more to being financial changes, like the 10-page stories, like the main stories being 10 pages now and then followed up by a second main story or a second story, backup story, which is another 10 pages. So I think it's somewhat financial. So a lot of these reasons, but that's just my opinion. Again, I know some people may not like some of the things that are happening, but we'll just have to wait and see what happens. Oh, and apparently they are still going to do Boom stories, Sonic Boom stories, but they're only going to save them for Sonic Super Special magazines and Digest. So at least they're still going to do those. At least they're still going to do Sonic Boom comics, but not as their own comic. And again, I think it's all due to financial reasons. But those are just my thoughts. Let me know what you guys think down below. I'm heading into work now, and I am out.